Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back for another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling here on Leon the King TV. It's your host, Alec, but welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. And today, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. But whatever you do, please subscribe to the channel. Today, we are going to be talking about a few things today. But first, we're going to hopefully everybody's off to a good week. But first, we're going to start off with Vince McMahon stepping down as chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment. Here we go. It's almost been a week since Vince McMahon shocked the world by announcing he was retiring from WWE. There are still so many questions surrounding McMahon's departure from the company, which came after it was reported he had paid hush money to four women he had affairs with over a 15-year period. Ring out of the gate, Meltzer, as you'll see below, explained why McMahon, who many thought would never retire, decided to do this at a time and why he had to go. I feel like, Vince McMahon to me is the face of sports entertainment. He's the reason why we have WWE now. He's pretty much the reason why we have pro wrestling and pro wrestling entertainment now. Is because of Vince McMahon. This whole WWE product over the years is because of Vince McMahon. So if anything, he's the face of it all. He's the reason why every WWE action figure is sold on a store rack, store shelf. The reason why you download or go to GameStop to buy a WWE video game from the store. He's the reason why you have posters and magazines in your bedrooms and magazines on your walls, posters on your walls. He's the reason why we sit around and watch Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. He's the reason why we have all this now. So if anything, he's the reason why we watch the network on Peacock. He's the reason why John Cena and Dwayne The Rock Johnson and The Undertaker are stars. And why? Because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I don't really have an opinion on the hush money stuff. Maybe that'll be for another video at another time. Probably. But I honestly feel like I'm happy that Vince is gone. I'll say that. And why Vince is gone? This opens up so many good doors for the company, the future of the company. Now that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are in charge, Triple H and Stephanie could make some good decisions with the company. And I think Triple H being head of creative, this is the best of the best and yet to come. I think that a lot of good things are going on in WWE lately. And I feel that you have to remember, I think in the interview years ago, Triple H was the one who said, I'm all for WWE going back to being TV 14 and having that feel that it had. Triple H, I actually think is a much better booker than a Vince McMahon. I think that he's better at booking matches than the Vince McMahon. He's better with the creative team than Vince McMahon. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Saturday at SummerSlam we see a whole creative splash because of Triple H. This could also bring back so many former stars, former talent, former released talent. This could bring back guys like Samoa Joe. This could bring back guys like The Fiend Bray Wyatt. This could bring back, who knows, Dean Ambrose, CM Punk, some of the guys that left to go to AEW. I'd be surprised if we get Sasha Banks back, but I don't think she's coming back. But anyway, you would never know who wants to come back and sign with the company on the roster now, because now that Vince is gone. and so many talent that probably had an issue with Vince. So Triple H being head of creative could mean a really good thing. And now that WWE is also going TV 14, this could be a good move. Vince McMahon gone, Triple H head of creative, and WWE turning their product back into the TV 14 rating. This could be the right move they make. We could be seeing the ruthless aggression era all over again. I wouldn't be surprised. Or recreated. The ruthless aggression era being recreated now because Triple H's head is creative. This could be a good move for the company and their roster. You got, I look at the bright side of it. Vince is gone, and it opens up doors to new things that they have been creatively stifled for so long because of Vince. Now they can be more freely creative that now that Triple H is in charge. This is really good news, and this is joy to my ears. This is joy to me hearing this, even saying this. Next, I want to talk about 20 years of Rey Mysterio. As we know on Raw this week, Rey Mysterio had a segment where he celebrated 20 years of his career with an awesome video package they did. And then after that, having a match with Judgment Day and getting attacked by Judgment Day backstage. And Rhea Ripley coming back. But anyway, we see that Rey Mysterio, to me, is definitely one of the greatest luchadors. Um, is he in the comment of all-time greats? Is he on the Mount Rushmore of greatest in wrestling? Is he on the top 10 list of all-time greats? The list of greats, you think of John Cena, you think of Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, John Cena. That's what you think about. But is Rey Mysterio on to have that same caliber of greats? Let's take a look at some of his matches. Give me 1 second. Rey Mysterio's highest rated pay-per-view matches according to CageMatch.net. Number 10 on the list was Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho at Judgment Day 2009. And it's funny how he's currently feuding with a stable called Judgment Day now. But anyway, the rivalry between Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio 2009 created a couple of great matches. Both wrestlers had the other among the favorite opponents of their respective careers. Judgment Day 2009 showed one of their best battles for the Intercontinental Championship. Mysterio delivered a tremendous performance and retained the title over the hated Jericho cage match. Rated the match a stellar 8.39 as late entry to the best of 10 Rey's career. The chemistry between Jericho and Rey always delivered when given enough time. Number 9 is Rey Mysterio versus Edge versus Drew McIntyre versus Big Show versus Wade Barrett versus Kane at Elimination Chamber 2011. The Elimination Chamber match stimulation has been a great concept to create interesting matches for 6 wrestlers. 2011 saw the event and match type delivering in a bout for the World Championship. Edge and Rey Mysterio were the standout performances to start and close the match. Drew McIntyre also had a great outing, looking dominant by using the structure for a few highlight moments. The match received an 8.39 rating to show how much the fans love seeing these 6 matches have a violent brawl with a unique concept. Number 8 is Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko, all the way back at Havoc Halloween Havoc 1996, a while ago, before my time. I'm only 23 years old. The WCW tenure of Rey Mysterio helped him break out in the United States by having incredible matches on a bigger stage. Mysterio's debut year for WCW saw him having an underrated rivalry with Dean Malenko in the Cruiserweight division. Halloween Havoc 1996 featured them stealing the show in the opening match. Malenko scored a victory to win back the Cruiserweight Championship following the exciting action cage match. Showed a lot of love for the battle with an 8.41 rating. Number 7 is Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho versus Edge versus Kane versus Mike Knox versus John Cena at Elimination Chamber 2009. Another interesting Elimination Chamber match came in 2009 with 5 future Hall of Famers and Mike Knox. This match is remembered for the infamous moment of Edge attacking Kofi Kingston and stealing his spot in the final pod. John Cena losing the world championship was a shocking moment that culminated with Edge defeating Rey Mysterio in the final 2. Mysterio always did well in the Elimination Chamber stipulation due to his high-risk moves. The match received a favorable 8.51 rating from Cage Match to see it holding up well. Number 6 on the list is Rey Mysterio versus Billy Kidman versus Juventud Guerrero at Starrcade 1998. One of the most underrated WCW matches ever came in the opener of Starrcade 98. Billy Kidman retained the Cruiserweight Championship in an instant classic triple threat, defeating Rey Mysterio and Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, leaving Mysterio and Guerrero in the Latino World Order, saw him getting involved. However, not even the outside interference or stories took away from such exciting action. The opener received an 8.53 rating on Cage Match, and it's an all-time great WCW pay-per-view bout. Number 5 is another 2009 match. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho Extreme Rules 2009 with an 8.62 rating. The 2009 feud between Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho continued with another excellent match at Extreme Rules. WWE placed them in a no-holds-barred match after Jericho made it personal on the build towards this bout. Jericho removing Mysterio's mask in a shameless move helped him steal the win in the classic heel fashion to become the Intercontinental Champion. The match received an 8.62 rating on Cage Match and is a must-watch for both of their careers. Number 4 on the list is Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis. Bash at the Beach 1996. Never watched it. The WCW Cruiserweight division became one of the best things in wrestling during the Monday Night Wars. An early stage match that helped fans get used to Cruiserweight. Stealing the show featured Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis at Bash at the Beach 96. Everyone that's night for Hulk Hogan turning heel to form the New World Order, but the Cruiserweights opened the show with an instant classic. Rey and Psychosis delivered a great enough match to get an 8.95 rating on Cage Match. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho, the Bash 2009, with a 99.32 rating. The culmination of the 2009 feud between Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho came at the Bash pay-per-view in a title match versus mask match. Jericho was so obsessed with unmasking Mysterio that he demanded Rey's mask on the line for another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. The match received an excellent 9.32 rating by the Cage Match ratings. Rey scored the victory to win back the Intercontinental Championship and keep his mask an all-time great WWE pay-per-view bout. Both men gave their all to this story and created a legendary chapter of their careers. Number 2 on the list is Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc 97. Another epic title versus mask match of Rey Mysterio featured a career-defining match against the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Many fans argue that this Halloween Havoc 97 match between Eddie and Rey was the greatest in WCW history. The magical night saw both wrestlers showcasing their incredible chemistry for a must-watch match. Mysterio won to keep his mask and become the new Cruiserweight champion. As the 4th best match in WCW history, only behind 3 Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Ric Flair bouts. And for the final, number one, Rey Mysterio and Edge versus Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. No Mercy 2002 with a 9. Cage Match gives it a 9.45 rating. WWE introduced new tag titles for the SmackDown brand in 2002. Raw kept the previously established belts for the tag division. No Mercy 2002 featured, well, no other than we all know who, Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio and Edge in the finals of the tournament. All four wrestlers were on the fire this night for one of the greatest tag matches ever. Benoit and Angle winning paid off the story of the unlikely partners getting together and dominating the cage match. Rating of 9.45 ranks as one of the greatest in WWE history. So it looks like Rey Mysterio overall has had a great career. Um, I think that his son Dominic has a great future ahead of him. Uh, and people can disagree with me, but I think that Dominic could be a world champion sooner than later. I think that Dominic could actually be a world champion. I would love to see him not this soon, but another couple years or so. I would love to see him win a World Rumble and main event at WrestleMania. I would love to see WWE push a young kid who's talented at wrestling, who's good in the ring, go on at his age and take on somebody who has a total different caliber than him, a much higher caliber than him, and see if he can win the World Heavyweight, a WWE or Universal Championship. That would be interesting. Because Dominique is actually talented. And Ray is pretty much mentoring his son into pro wrestling. So I think that, you know, they're doing good with that. So I think that, but the segment on Raw was good. We celebrated 20 years of the greatest masked luchador wrestler in all of wrestling, which is the only Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio to me is one of the best, and I think that I would put him in the conversation as greats. I love how he paid segment to Eddie Guerrero because of the history they had and the matches and the chemistry that they had in the ring, the great feud and matches they had that even involved Dominic Mysterio years ago before he was a professional wrestler. So yeah, I think Rey Mysterio is great, and we're celebrating 20 years of him this week. And I think that it makes 20 years of Rey Mysterio now, and I think that he is just a talented wrestler. And if anything, he deserves the attention right now of being celebrated because he's that good. So thank you, Rey Mysterio, for 20 years of entertainment. Next, I'm going to talk about, do we feel Austin Theory is another John Cena? I knew this was going to be a little controversial, but I feel to some of you fans out there, I will say this. Austin Theory to me at first reminds me of a mixture of a Randy Orton and a John Cena. He's a young guy who's talking trash, talking crap. He's great at promos. He's great in the ring. He's he's Mr. Money in the Bank for winning this year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view men's match. So I think that he's got a future ahead of him. He's a former United States champion. He will be facing Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship this Saturday at SummerSlam. Excuse me. And there's a possibility that he could cash in at SummerSlam this Saturday. So, like I said, I think there's similar characteristics that he has to a John Cena, to a Randy Orton. When John Cena debuted, he was kind of this young new guy, but even with the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick, he was a trash talker. He was a young trash talking guy. That's what Austin Theory is. Austin Theory talks trash. He's a trash talker. Randy Orton was this young, talented wrestler who was a trash talker. He grew into becoming a trash talk. He became entertaining. So Austin Theory is one of the best things WWE has right now on their roster. And I think that he is not another John Cena. I will say that. But you haven't had the successes that John Cena has long enough in his career. Cena is a record equaling 16-time world champion with a record 13 WWE championship runs, which is astonishing. He is also a 3-time world heavyweight champion, but he is more synonymous with the WWE championship. When you have a career like that, you won Royal Rumbles. Austin Theory won the United States Championship and he won Mr. Money in the Bank. We're talking also John Cena, a guy who's had a 16-time world championship with a record 13 championship runs. That's astonishing. So if you think that, pretty impressive. If you think, Austin Theory is on the same level of a John Cena, no. He could get there, of course, but now he's not another John Cena. There's similar characteristics in their character and in their promos, but I'm not going to say he's another John Cena. That's what some people are saying. But if he cashes in on Roman this Saturday, why I keep saying Sunday, this Saturday at SummerSlam, if he cashes in on Roman Reigns in the Brock Lesnar match, he becomes the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. I was one of those people that thought we were going to get John Cena versus Austin Theory at SummerSlam 2022 this year, but we didn't. We got Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title, and we're not getting Cena in a match at SummerSlam this year. But SummerSlam, I think, is going to be a creative splash, with Triple H now being the newly head of creative. Next, I want to talk about the SummerSlam rumors. It is being rumored that because of the match on Monday Night Raw and everything that happened in the segment, Seth Rollins had injured Matt Riddle, so Riddle will be out on injury, meaning that the Seth Rollins Riddle match is canceled. Rollins will have another opponent. We'll still have the match, but a different opponent. So now this is part 2 of like what happened at WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes. This is going to be part 2 of Seth Rollins' mystery opponent at SummerSlam. I doubt it's Cody Rhodes, but I think that it probably will most likely be Edge because of the history, the feud they had last year. If Edge returns with the Brood gimmick or a new gimmick, that would be interesting. I think that it most likely will be Edge coming back because he was rumored to be at Raw at MSG this past week. So I think that, it's wind up going to be probably Edge who takes on Seth Rollins in replacement of Riddle's injury. Bobby Lashley, I think, will wind up retaining the U.S. title. Reigns will probably defeat Brock Lesnar in the main event, which leads to Austin Theory cashing in on Reigns, becoming the new undisputed WWE champion. But I wouldn't be surprised if the big creative twist is that Paul Heyman turns on the Bloodline and Roman, causing Austin Theory to become a Paul Heyman guy. That will be interesting. Years ago, I remember being in the Paul Heyman guy phase. If Austin Theory is Heyman becomes Austin Theory's right hand man and special counsel, then I think that that's what's going to happen. He could probably turn on the bloodline and join Austin Theory. Well, that was another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. I want to say thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a like, leave a comment. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we'll be on later to talk for another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. But next, we will talk about the greats of all time. Who is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Who is great? Who is the greatest on the list of greats in pro wrestling? We will talk about that. And on another episode, we will talk about what killed TNA Impact Wrestling. Total nonstop action wrestling. What killed the promotion? Why is it the way it is now? Why are they as broke as they are? We will find out everything, but we'll find out why. And we will hear from it and find out, what's the reason, why it happened, why is the company doesn't have the roster they have or big enough roster, what happened to all the great talent in TNA, why did they leave to go off to WWE and other promotions. We will eventually find out because, as we know, TNA did used to have some good talent. So that will be on the next episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. But until then, it's your host, Alec, and I am out. Stay positive, love one another, trust God, be happy. See you next time.